Now when you're 3D printing, no matter what printer you use and no matter what resin you use, eventually you will get a failure of some kind or other on your model. And here on this wonderful CA3D Pyrotes Elf, I've had a bit of a failure on the back of the hair. Now this is quite an in-depth piece, as you can see, and I really don't want to throw this away and start again. So I've had a little failure on the ear, tiny bit on the end, and a failure on the back of the hair. Now I can't leave it like that. There's no way you will get away with leaving it like that. So I'm going to show you how to put it right. I've done a whole video on Funcrecol light curing putty before, and I'll put a link in the description. It comes in two forms: the little pot there that's quite a firm putty, and it comes also in a syringe that's a little bit runnier and will fill gaps easier. And you can see me using both of these in the video that I'll link at the end, but this is the stuff in essence that I'm going to be using. Now I have got some little sample pots to give away, so stay tuned to the end if you want to get hold of one of these. And it's just the more stiff putty that I've got in a sample pot, and it comes with a little wooden stick to apply it to and some sandpaper to smooth it down a bit. Now first and foremost, wear gloves. I haven't worn gloves here. You can smack my hand if ever you see me, but do make sure you're wearing gloves. I'm also using this is a little engraving tool that I did a whole video on, and I'm going to be using this to put back some of the details in the hair that you've seen there. Now the first thing I've done is I've just prepped it, and all I've done is I've took a pair of clippers and I've clipped it so that it's nice and the edges are a little bit tidy. There's no frayed edges. I'm going to take that wooden spatula and I'm going to put a tiny bit of this on there. Make sure you put the lid on. Remember, this is UV curing, so you don't want to be leaving it out to the sun to get hold of it. And all you're going to do is smooth it into the gap and push it down. Now there's a couple of things to note with this stuff. Firstly, it does fill gaps really well, but whatever you need to get off when you've finished, this stuff goes rock hard. So make sure you get it to where you want it, smooth it down, try to do as much work as you can with it in its soft state, because as I say, when it goes hard, it goes rock solid, which is good because that's what you want. You don't want soft squidgy putty. So get it in there, push it in, push it down, use that spatula rather than anything else. And when you're happy and when you've smoothed it all down, take a UV light and just give it a couple of minutes of UV wonderfulness, and that will make it go absolutely rock hard, and it's done. Next thing you need to do is get some on your finger, put a little ball. Again, I know I should be wearing gloves, I am sorry. And I'm just going to rebuild that part of the ear. I'm going to squeeze it into place and I'm going to push it and I'm going to poke it till it sits where I want it to sit. And then again, once I'm happy with it, I'm going to get any of the excess off that I can at this stage, and UV light, and away we go. And again, that is now nice and solid. There's no sticky residue left behind or anything like that. So once you've cured it, you don't need to wipe it down with anything, you're ready to go. Now I'm going to take a really fine point on this engraving kit, and I really do urge you to watch the video that I did on this bit of kit, because there's quite a few engraving points and I'll show you them all on that. And I'm just going to take my time and I'm going to etch the shape of the hair back into it. Now I am not a sculptor in any way, shape or form. You may be more artistic than I am and you may find this bit easier, but from my perspective, and if you're a real novice and a beginner, it's not too difficult. Just follow the hairline, take your time and just use the engraving tool to mark the hairline back in. Now make sure you wear a respiratory protection during any of this. You don't want to be breathing this stuff in, it is still resin. So respiratory protection is paramount. To it in a well ventilated space if you can. Outside if you can't. I did do quite a bit of this outside actually that I didn't catch on video for that very reason. And just take your time and go through the whole thing and smooth it, and use a little bit of sandpaper when you're finished to just smooth it down, because this can leave it a little bit rough. So all I've done here now is I've gone over everything and I've used a bit of sandpaper just to smooth it down, as you can see, and the hair is pretty much rebuilt. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. Is that ear perfect? Well, I've still got to sand that down, but it's not 100% perfect, but it saves you having to throw the thing away. Now I've got to do a lot more cleanup on this model anyway, but that was just showing you how I repaired the section that's broken off. The other thing I use at the end is one of these. It's like a scouring pad on a rotary tool, and I'm going to go over it. The other thing I've done, which I didn't catch, is I just put a bit of filler primer on it, just really to show off what the difference is really, so you can see the contrast there, because white's not a really good colour. So I put a bit of filler primer on. You can see that it's repaired. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect, of course it's not. But is it repairable, so to a point where you can get away with using this to save you reprinting? Yeah, and depending on your skill level with the engraver, I'm sure a lot of you out there can do that better than I can. And there's the ear looking a little bit better. Now I've painted it white with a bit of matte white paint, and I'm using a little bit of this holy white on it just to add a little bit of grey. This is just a sneaky preview of what's coming in my next video, where I'll show you the whole making of this elf. And there's the ear, there's the hair. Would you agree with me? We can get away with this. And as I said, it's not perfect, but this hobby is about trying to do the best you can with what you got, and I didn't want to reprint the whole thing. And here is a sneaky peek of Piratess from GK3. Make sure you tune into the next video where I'll show you the whole making of it. But that's how I repaired her hair. Hope you found that interesting. So the obvious answer is to reprint your part and make it 100% perfect. But resin, it's not cheap. And if you're printing something with, say, Formlabs resin, do I need to say any more? So the repairing your model in this way is just a way of trying to save you a few quid and make it so that you have another skill set in your hobby and something else you can do to repair your model. Now there's other options on the table, of course there is. You can use stuff like milliput or green stuff. You can even use wood filler. You can use lots of things. The reason I like the Funcrecol UV putty is because once you've cured it, it's done, it's cured, it's ready to go to the next step of your sanding or your filing down or your engraving down. Using normal resin is an option again, depending on how you need to fill it, just your normal resin you use to make it. But the good thing with the putty is it's mouldable and it's shapeable, and you don't get that benefit with a runny resin. The other thing you can do if you want to smooth it out at the end, I use sandpaper just to go over it a little bit, but you can use normal resin that you used to make this and just paint it on with a brush and cure it, and that can smooth it down a little bit. Or you can use the Funcrecol syringe resin that you can apply with that and rub that down with a gloved finger to smooth it down a little bit. And then, you know, maybe if you need to sand it, then you're going to prime it, then you're going to paint it. So it's just a couple of things we can do. We also need to look at why it failed in the first place. Well, a lot of times it failed because maybe your support settings aren't right. Maybe you need to add a few more supports in, or your orientation maybe needs to change. One of the problems I had printing this head with the hair was I wanted to keep all the supports off the face, which means I had to vertically stand it vertically. The problem with that was there was quite a lot to support with the hair, so the hair failed. It would have been great if I could put it horizontal, if I could just put it flat, but I'd have had supports all over the back of the hair and all over the face potentially, and you don't want that because that's more post-prep work. So again, the orientation of the print could cause this, but sometimes you have very little choice if you want to get out of post-processing, and that's a little thing for the 3D printer developers out there, or the 3D printer sculptors out there. When you make your parts, make it so that us printers can make them easy. I always like to see hair separate to the face, because the painting is a pain in the arse when you've got it attached to the face. The printing can be a pain as well. You can hide support settings for hair on the underside of it, but you can't do that if it's one piece. So just something to think about, you studio bods out there that make these 3D prints. Now, I did mention that you can get hold of some of this Funcrecol, and it's currently only available in America and other countries, but not the UK. I am led to believe that it will be available in the UK very soon. So when that happens and I get the links, I'll put the links down below in the description. But what I want to do today is I've got about 4 or 5 of these little pots to give away. If you want one, there's a couple of things you need to do. 1, you need to be a subscriber to Greedy 3D. And 2, you need to leave a comment on the video to say you want one, you're interested in one. And what I'll do is I'll pick a couple at random and I'll contact you, and you can give me your address and I'll ship it to you. The only thing I would say is, at this time only, I'm going to stick to shipping to the UK purely for a cost perspective and also because we can't get it in the UK at the moment. So I want to let some people who've not had the access to it have a little play with it. I'm really sorry, but shipping across abroad, I just can't afford to do it, and that's me being completely honest at this time. So sorry if you're disappointed at that. If you're in other countries that do sell it though, I'll put some links down below. They're non-affiliated links. I don't get any money back for this, but I'll put some links in the description to show you where you can go to buy it. And if you're in the UK, just leave me a little note to say you're interested in a sample, and I'll see if I can ship one to you. One of the 4 or 5 that I've got knocking around, I'll just stick it in an envelope, send it in the post. It won't cost you anything, and it's just a little thank you from me to you guys. If you do like what you see today, please subscribe. A lot of people watch these videos and don't subscribe, and it really is simple and quick and easy. Just hit the subscribe button if you like what you see, and that helps the algorithm, it helps the channel grow, and it also means you probably won't miss any more videos if you're interested in this content. If you want to join the Patreon, you can do so. It doesn't have to cost you anything. It can be free, but if you want to pay a couple of quid a month, you can do that just to support the channel. And if you want to buy anything that you see, sometimes there are affiliate links down below in the description, and a little bit kicks back, and it just allows me to carry on doing what I am doing. So I think the message for me is please subscribe if you've watched and you like the video. Leave me a comment, let me know what you think. If you want a sample, just let me know. And thank you for watching. If you've got any other ideas of how you can fill gaps, let me know. Again, I just want to reiterate, it's not perfect, so please don't say there's a mark, there's a mark here. It's not about that. I am a novice, I'm a beginner when it comes to engraving things and repairing things like this, and sometimes it's the best you can do. And if it's the best you can do with what you've got, then you know that's okay, that's fine. None of us are perfect, none of us are 100% perfect. So as long as you enjoy it, and as long as it's better than it was, and as long as you save a few quid by repairing it, it's a winner chicken dinner. Thanks for watching. See you soon on Greedy 3D.